Alright, this is going to be part 2 of the Mario Kart Wii modding tutorial, and it'll be covering stuff like the extensions for SketchUp and getting the course out as an OBJ so that it can be used to be put into BrawlBox. After it gets put into BrawlBox, we'll be able to view the course model and be able to see if all the textures made it through properly and see if the model overall is properly working on a proper scale. The first thing we'll want to do is go into the Cygwin folder and find the Windows Install application. From there, we'll be able to install the application itself. So double click on it, allow it to do whatever it needs to. Let that screen go by. Alright, next, it says this program may not have installed correctly. What you need to do is select this program installed correctly. Then after that, you would usually restart your computer, but I don't need to. I would suggest doing it. I don't think I did my first time around because I was impatient, didn't want to do the whole restart process. But I would suggest if your PC is pretty fast at restarting and booting back up and you don't mind doing that, then yes, you should restart it first. After it's booted back up, navigate to the bin folder and into the Cygwin folder, and then scroll down to the Windows Install there as well. It'll be right near the bottom, Windows Install right here, the application. So double click on that, allow it to make changes, let it go through with everything it needs to, and it will come up with another prompt saying this program may not have installed correctly. You need to select this program installed correctly once again, and then here you would restart your computer once more. The prompt saying the program may not have installed correctly does not appear, then it already installed correctly the second time around and there would be no need to restart your computer then. After that, you want to shift and right click inside of the folder. Make sure you don't have anything selected so nothing's highlighted, and you'll shift, right click, and select Open PowerShell window here, or select Command Prompt with older computers. I think it also does that with certain other computers. To check that the install that we just went through with restarting your PC and everything worked, then you'll want to type in WSZST in the prompt window, then hit enter. There, a Weems SDS Tools icon should appear. You can double check it by just typing it again, WSZST, enter, and you should be able to see that. After that, it is recommended you restart your PC once more to ensure that it installed correctly, but you don't need to do it. I mean, I didn't do it my first time around, but that's mostly just because my impatience. Next, we'll want to navigate back to the Program zip folder and into the SketchUp extensions folder. Go to RBZ Files, and then highlight, right click, copy, then hit Windows R, and type in app data. If it isn't already there, then just type it in yourself, /appdata. Make sure to have the percentage on both sides. Once you're in the app data folder, go down to SketchUp. It's pretty close to the bottom for me. I don't know where it'll be for you. Double click in there, go into 2018 version, go into SketchUp, go into plugins, and then we Control-C, Control-V, or right-click paste. Once we've pasted it all, then they should all be ready to be installed inside of SketchUp itself. So from here, we'll want to open up SketchUp 2018 or Pro version like we have it. If your trial for the Pro version is run out, or you're still on the 2017 version from using SketchUp before, then just go back into the app data, then go into SketchUp, then go into the 2017 version, SketchUp, plugins, and Control-C, not Control-C, and then just Control-V or right-click paste it here. As you can see, I already have them all in here from previous usage. Now we'll want to open up SketchUp itself so that we can get all the extensions working and get the model out of the game. Make sure to open up the version that we were working on before from first episode, or if you didn't catch the first part, and you still have a model that you made before or something, then open up whatever you need to. Ugh, forgot how ugly this is. Alright, first thing you want to do is you want to check file. Make sure to check if you have OBJ exporter. It'll be what allows you to export it as an OBJ for future use. After you've made sure you have the OBJ exporter, make sure to go to Window, Extension Manager, Install Extension, hit Windows R, Control C the app data location, Control V it, go into SketchUp, go to the version you're using, SketchUp, plugins, and select SketchUV is DM_SketchUV_V101. It's near the top because of the DM. It'll have a little thing that pops up, you can just close it if you want to. Next, install TT Cleanup. It's near the bottom because it has a T in it and everything. Open that. Don't do anything for this, I'm pretty sure you can just close it, it'll be fine. Especially since cleanup isn't that needed, and I think that's probably an old version. Next, go back into Install Extension, and select the triangulate just above the cleanup. There would usually be a notification that tells you that 2 extensions need to update. If not, I don't think you need to do anything for it, so we can just close this window. We can click on extensions and we'll see SketchUV and triangulate since we don't need cleanup because it's only just to get rid of straight lines. But if you keep on top of it like I tend to, then it doesn't really matter that much. Finally, what we'll need is the FBX converter. It allows us to convert it from an OBJ to an FBX to a day, and days are what can be used in the BrawlBox. So what we'll need to do is go to the Autodesk FBX Converter website, which I'll have linked in the description because I forgot to do that in the first part, and I'll update its description afterwards, and I'll make sure that this one also has it. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to have this link in the description, and then when we click on it, we'll click on FBX 2013.3 Windows 64-bit if you have a fairly decent PC, or one that would be able to run Dolphin in general. Otherwise, if your PC can't run Dolphin, it's not recommended to do this modding, but you can do it still. As you should be able to see, mine says FBX 2013.3_win_x64 bracket 1 bracket.exe. The bracket 1 is because I've already downloaded before, and this is just the second version of the same thing I already have. So I'm going to click Open File. Left click on it up there. It should ask you to make changes to your device. Allow it if you're not scared. Select I accept. Go to next. Go install to wherever you want to install. And now we wait for it to install. Select no to the open readme file. I don't think it's necessary. Add Explorer shell. Say no to the Explorer shell. And then we close. Now, since I already had it downloaded, I had it on my home screen, and I don't know for certain if it'll appear on your home screen or not. If it doesn't, just go to the install location that you selected and go and find it in there. And then we can open it up, and you can see that it's mostly just a black screen. It works as Autodesk, but without having to have all of Autodesk and pay for that. It just lets you convert the file types that it would be using. So you go add FBX converter, and then when we later have an OBJ, you'll go to add, select OBJ, and then select the OBJ that you want. Here you can already see my one course where it was in progress. I kind of gave up on the course, but you can see I have OBJs in here already from when I was working on it, but I don't think I have any days. And then from here you convert to an FBX type on the right side, and then once you've made the FBX type, you add the FBX type that you just converted your OBJ into, and then you select A. We'll get more into that when we're actually actively doing it, however, which will be in just a little bit. But first we have to download BrawlBox, because unfortunately the BrawlBox in that folder often doesn't work. It didn't work my first time, and a lot of other people had problems with it too, and that's why I wasn't able to mod it first, is because I thought my PC wasn't good enough, which it wasn't. It wasn't able to even run the SSD Explorer, but my other PC I had thought it didn't work either, but it's just because of a faulty version of BrawlBox. So I apologize for that. I don't think I can fix the file because it's not mine, the folder with all the programs in it. That's an older program, and we're gonna have to get Lorenzi's to add to that anyways. So let's go to BrawlBox. I skipped the process of getting to this website because I didn't want to have to show you me going to my video from the other day, selecting on this, waiting for it to load and everything. But after this, we click download. Once it's finished downloading, then we'll want to go into our downloads and extract it into our folder with all our program files and replace the older version that we had. And now inside here, we'll be able to see that the BrawlBox new version should be up here in a folder. We'll just want to delete this, and then select in the folder, and you should see that everything's all good and working. You don't need to delete anything else that's left over from this. You can if you want, but I won't really try that. Alright, that's it for the finalizing all the setups. Now we're going to actually get on to the next step. So the first thing we'll want to do when getting the course over to BrawlBox is that we want to lift up our course by a decent amount so it doesn't count as being in the out of bounds area. So just highlight your entire course, select the move tool, and move it up by about 10,000. So like you start moving it along the blue line, type in 10,000 while holding it down, hit enter, and it'll bring it up. Then what we want to do, select off of that, go File, Save, then File, OBJ Exporter. And then we want to export it into whatever folder we want to be in. Make sure to name it Race, because we'll have to rename a course in a later part, and we want to make sure that the course we're renaming it to is the proper course or whatever. We just want to name it Race. So save it. When it asks you this, make sure to say yes, because it's going to make a folder called race_textures, and that folder is going to be useful for getting all of our textures properly encoded into BrawlBox. So say yes. You'll hear a Windows ding as soon as it finishes, and then we can go out of SketchUp and into FBX Converter. Inside the FBX Converter, if this window isn't already up here, select Add FBX Converter, and then we want to select Add right here. And then we add our OBJ that we just made. It's called the 3D object, but it is the OBJ. We go Open, FBX 2013, Convert. Once it's converted, select Remove All, go Add, select the smaller file or whatever the kilobytes the FBX said it was going to have on the right side, but it tends to be smaller. So go Open, select Destination Format, and choose Decolada. Convert it, and it will be of a larger size than the FBX or the OBJ. Now we want to close out of this and go into our new BrawlBox. So I've navigated to the program zip folder, and we want to go into the new BrawlBox we had downloaded earlier called BrawlBox Hotfix. And then we want to open this up. When it says unable to connect to the internet, just say OK, it doesn't matter. Then we want to select the file, go to New, go Archives, and select Breast Resource Pack. And then here we want to right click on this, go Import, and select Model. Choose the day that we just made, the race.day, and open it up. Make sure all the files on your end are the exact same as this, so true, 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 R255, G255, B255, A254, ignore original colors false, true, 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 make sure the col is none, true, repeat, false, we want the model type to be stage, we need the model version to be 11, don't forget 11, and model type stage, and the final really important one is 1024 for the cache size, but also make sure that you have it with false, 0.0001, true, true, and minimum strip length 2. Select OK, wait for it to import, and then we can right click and preview it. We'll full screen this, and when you hold down Control, that will allow you to rotate. When you hold down Shift, that will allow you to pan, and if you do the scroll wheel, that will allow you to zoom or zoom out. When you hold Shift while zooming and zooming out, that will make you zoom in or zoom out even faster. And that's generally recommended because of how long it takes to get up here above your model. So you want to point straight up and just scroll up until you clip through your model. And then you can use the rotate keys and you'll be able to see the white version of your model. From here, we'll want to close out of this and we'll want to right click on new tree. So select new tree, right click on that, import, and then we want to choose folder. The folder we want to choose will be our race textures, the ones that OBJ originally extracted when it asked you to convert all texture files to PNGs. So we'll want to select on that and choose OK. Now we'll want to go through all these files and make sure that they are CMPR or IA8 if they have transparency, which none of mine do because I didn't want to deal with that. But I'll choose CMPR. The next important thing is that we want this to be a power of 2. So 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, or 2048, but we don't want to go up to 2048. 1024 is like the max that we should go because our cache size is 1024. So we'll want our dimensions to both be powers of 2. So 5, 1, 2, whatever is closest to your current one. And I'm going to intentionally mess this up because when it has constrained proportions, it'll make both numbers the same. Well, not the same, but it will scale up together. So if you scale up one that says 1 and do 2 and the other one was 2, then it'll go up to 4. We usually want that off if the two different dimension numbers are different, but if they're the same, you can keep it on. And I'm going to intentionally mess this up by not hitting apply because I want to show re-encoding in case you mess any up. Now this is 256 CMPR, it's all good. Same with this one. This one you will want to res up a little bit because it's the road texture. And that's what I usually do just to make it look a little better, and it's not as big as other files will be, so it really doesn't matter too much. For the water texture, I usually res it up to 128 because it will do the whole AI smoothing. And with that, when you're further away from it, it won't look as bad, and when you're close up, it will look better than it being extremely pixelated. It's also CMPR, so it's all good. 256 CMPR, this is already a Mario Kart texture, so it would be in the proper dimensions. Same with this one as well. We don't want to mess with this one, except for to make it CMPR, but dimensions don't res it up, otherwise it will blur the lines doing the whole AI smoothing. This one is of proper dimensions already. We don't need to do anything for it. Just hit OK. This one should be CMPR because it reduces its data size and is already of correct dimensions. This one needs to be CMPR. It'll reduce its file size. And we want to make it the closest power of 2 to its normal dimensions number. So that'd be 512. Hit apply. And it'll both be the same if they were both already the same. If they aren't, turn off constraint proportions. This texture is already a CMPR and of proper dimensions, so we can just hit OK. And now we can go into the texture that we messed up. So the very first one, we can right click on it and hit re-encode. It'll bring up that advanced texture converter like we were just using, and then we can fix it where we need to. So CMPR and set to 512. Apply, then we can hit OK. And now we should double check all the textures to make sure they're all CMPR 512. Any that aren't CMPR would be IA8 for transparent, and just make sure that they're all as they should be. And now we should be able to right click on this and go into preview, full screen it, and then when we look up and scroll up into this, we should be able to see that all the textures look like they worked. Make sure that any of the textures on turns didn't get messed up in the process. It all looks good. That looks good. Everything seems to be fine. Even the roof on that one looks fine, so everything should be just good. But you may notice that it is extremely bright, and it'll be even brighter with the reflection and bloom in Mario Kart Wii, so we'll have to X out of this and fix that. So we'll go click the plus sign right beside the race, click the plus sign right beside the shaders, the plus right beside the shader 0, click on the stage 0, scroll down to the BTEV color output, find where it says scale multiply by 4 and change that to multiply by 1. And then when we go back into our race, we can right click, preview, full screen it. And as you can see, it looks just fine. Like it's much dimmer than it used to be, but it won't be this dim in game because of the actual light source from the sun that we'll add in afterwards. So now we can X out of this. And one last extremely important thing that will ruin your entire course if you don't do it. Rename the race to course. If you don't do that, Mario Kart Wii won't be able to recognize your model, and it won't accept it, and it will only accept your collisions from your KCL when you've added them. And you'll just be driving in a black void because it won't recognize your course as a course without renaming it. So I urge you, no matter what, don't forget this. There's been days of me just struggling to find the issue just to know it's something as simple as renaming this. So please, never forget that. And now we can go File and Save As, and we'll want to save it as Course, so that we can tell it apart more easily from all the other race models that we already have. So save it, click File, and save once more. No changes have been made. When it says that, you're in the clear. And now we just want to double check and make sure it's properly saved, so we'll go into our course folder, and we should see course, and it's a Nintendo Brest file. It's much bigger than any of the others, and it should be good to put in as soon as we need to do that. In the next episode, or part, whatever, we'll be covering the collision types. So we'll be setting all these roads to roads, all the water to water, sand to sand, wall to wall. Everything will be set properly and ready to go. The boost will work like boost, the boost ramp will work like a boost ramp, and we'll set up the out of bounds as well, with grass being grass. So I'll see you in the next part whenever I make that. It probably won't be too long from this one. There isn't too much more to go in this whole process. So, see you next time.